Good morning. I'm Kyle. We're here in beautiful Mountain Grove, Missouri, here at S&H on a wonderful sunny day, and we're going to go over New Holland's new Discbine 310 Plus. There's a lot of upgrades on this 10-foot cutter over your typical side pull, and some of them will be obvious, and some of them will go into a little more detail. So there are a couple hitch options on this tractor. You have, like, this is the drawbar swivel, and that is available in a 540. This tractor's standard equipment is 1,000 speed PTO, and that can come as an option. You can get the 2-point drawbar swivel. This here is configured in 540. What I like about this is because of the swivel gearboxes here, your front drive line is always straight behind the tractor. Everything turns on this top gearbox. So what that means is they've been able to get rid of any and all constant velocity joints. As we know, they're expensive. You can't get enough grease in them, and this effectively gets rid of that problem for you. So they've got a couple guards here to kind of protect the drive line on those real sharp turns, and it is a direct drive, so there's no belt transferring power to the cutter bar, which is really a big plus. Probably the most notable advantage of these Plus models is this cutter bar. So this is a 10-foot model, and what New Holland has done is they have taken the design of the Durabine cutter bars from the big speed rowers, the big self-propelleds, and they've taken that design and they've applied it to their pull type mowers. So the advantage of like a 310 Plus over a like a 210 10-foot side pull. So here you have our modules are tied together, but they're actually tied to a rigid bar in the back, and that's going to eliminate any sort of sag, which I know will get people in trouble if their bar begins to sag. That's when you start maybe going through shafts and bearings and stuff. So you've got larger shafts, larger bearings all the way through here, and it's the same true modular design, but they've made it a lot more rigid and a lot more robust. And you may be able to tell, so with a 10-footer on a side pull, 210, you've got, I believe it's 8 pods. Here, they're getting 10 feet out of just 6 pods. So the pods are quite a bit longer, and they've increased the overlap. So because the pods are longer, the blade speed has been increased, and then there's overlap between the pods, and it's effectively reduced or eliminated streaking through your field. They've also managed to lower the profile significantly on these pods, so your blades are a lot closer to the cutter bar. So if a guy wants to get a really close cut, you don't have to angle your cutter bar down like you would in previous models or of other cutter bars. Here instead, you can get down to half an inch all the way up to 2.5, and it's because that shock hub, they have lowered the profile of that shock hub, so they've allowed those blades to get down a little bit closer. They've also redesigned your rock guards here, but it's a much heavier grade cutter bar, and I really think with the Hydra swing in a 10-foot, it's going to be about perfect for a lot of the guys that are putting up hay in this country. I know our family farm is full of narrow gates, and none of the fields are square, and this, it's a foot narrower transport width than a typical side pull 10-footer, but you do have the added versatility of that center pivot, allowing you fewer headland turns, allows you to stay on the same side of the crop all the way through the field. Also gives you an advantage in opening the field up, which is really important for getting started. These models have the Plus models have 3 options for conditioners. They have the Intermesh Chevron rubber rolls, they have the Chevron steel rolls, and they have the flail conditioner. Now this is equipped with the rubber rolls, and we can come around to the back here and we can see that on the 310 you have the options for either the Chevron rubber rollers or the flail, and this is going to be kind of your every crop conditioner. So it's good in grasses, and it's excellent with delicate crops like clover and alfalfa, legumes, where you really don't want to shake apart those leaves. This is going to be a gentle condition here. And I wanted to highlight So we've got our 4-rib belt here, and you can actually, in lighter conditions, you can lower the revolutions of your chevron rollers, because those rollers will create a little bit of airflow. And so if you're in a really light crop, sometimes that can actually blow product away from the cutter bar and away from your swath and windrow. So you can actually lower that in light conditions and get a more uniform row and get more crop off the field. Let's see. Oh yeah, and as well, they've improved the flotation of these. So not only do these flotation springs you can see here, and they are adjustable, but not only does this cutter bar float upwards out of the way of obstructions, it will actually float up and rear. If you really run into something and you've got a good ground speed, of course you can damage your cutter bar. And New Holland's done a really good job of improving the flotation in these machines to where it'll get that unit up out of the way of whatever obstructions you're dealing with. And another really neat feature that reduces downtime and keeps you out in the field longer, you've got, this is the fork for our quick change knife system. So if you come around here, you'll see if these are rotated at 45 degrees, you can actually, using the quick change system that slips into here, you can just flip these blades over. But within just a few seconds, you can change half the cutter blades, and then you just flip it over, again, 180 degrees, and you'll do it again. It may take you a couple of minutes, as opposed to bringing an impact in the tractor with you. Really is going to speed your processes up here. I think one of the last things I wanted to touch on was this swath board. So your swath board, your shields here they're 5 inches longer than previous models, than the standard side pull, and they're also 5 inches deeper. And so that's going to lend itself to a really uniform, tight windrow. And in addition to that, we have these wedges and fins are fully adjustable on the top in regards to angle, and that will help kind of tailor your crop or tailor your windrow for whatever crop. If you've got a really heavy crop and you've got a nice big pickup on your or a nice big V-rake or a good pickup on your baler, a lot of university studies have showed that the more crop that is in contact with the ground, the faster that's going to dry. And the faster it dries, the quicker we can get it out from under the sun. It's going to reduce things like sun bleaching. But in light crops, you can actually adjust these as well as these shields here and get down to a really nice uniform row. The entire machine is really, it's made much heavier than our previous models, but the 310 requires just 80 horsepower at the PTO. That's why we give you that 540 option. So you can run this machine with most of the tractors that you guys have already got at your farms. Lastly, wanted to highlight, they are doing a 3-year warranty on this machine. So you have 2 years full, the entire machine, and then an additional 1 year of cutter bar warranty. And of course, that's unlimited hours or acreage, but you've got those two years full and then an additional year for your cutter bar. These are truly a modular design. New Holland's got a great reputation. If you continue to maintenance these machines, they'll continue to run for well, really, golly, we're selling used models that are 20 and 25 years old because they just really hold their value well. So anyways, that is the Discbine 310 Plus that comes in a 10-foot, 12-foot, 13-foot, and 16-foot model. You have options, different options at the hitch, as well as 3 different conditioner options: the rubber chevron, steel chevron, and the flail. Thank you very much.